Me right away. And we are live. How exciting. How are you guys doing out there? This is the Winner's Journey podcast, and we are back after a couple of weeks that we paused because I am in Cartagena, Colombia, my home city, still here. And today I have the honor to present to you somebody that I admire. He's done some incredible achievements in spite of many things that you're going to learn. Robert is an entrepreneur, he is an athlete, he's an overcomer. He became an All American athlete and champion track and fielder who had an accident, a career ending injury almost, but he overcame every forecast from the medical um, forecast, from the doctors, from pessimists, from everything, and he proved everybody wrong, came back stronger, and not only that, now he's helping develop others. Unbreakable resilience. That's so cool, Robert. Thank you
Thank you.
for being here at the Winner's Journey podcast. So excited to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yes. So I got to start from that point of when, well, you're having this incredible career and what happened.
Well, let me give the quick backstory first. So I'm the
Okay.
youngest of seven siblings, and we were
Okay.
and we were all athletes, including my parents. So we were all athletes, and so when you're the youngest, and there's a decent age gap between myself and the oldest.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was kind of even though I was the baby, and my siblings would tell me I was a crybaby. But when you're trying to get attention, you gotta do what you gotta do. And so as I'm watching all of them excel in their sports, I became known as so and so's little brother, always,
Oh,
and
okay.
that drove me insane. Like I just wanted to be Robert Foster. It's like a tired of being Monique's little brother, Ramona's little brother, Ralph's little brother. So that's where my competitive edge came from, because I
That's
had to
awesome.
yeah, 'cause I had to fight really hard just to be called my name. Like even in school, all the teachers, it's like, "Hey, Ramona's brother." Like my name is Robert. Like it was just
Wow.
so annoying. And so once I saw my name in the newspaper for the first time, it was just like finally, it was like finally I'm me.
Wow. So this is, do you know what? This is so incredible because I pretty much grew up by myself alone, right? I'm like the one and
Mhm.
only. And
Okay.
I never heard this perspective of how challenging it can be for the younger one when you have siblings who are accomplishing or
Yes.
wow. Okay, so there goes your first challenge. That's
Yes.
awesome.
So this was in track and field, and I played pretty much every sport out there, but I went the furthest in track. And so I was actually trying to qualify for the 1992 Olympic trials. And in that training, I ended up hurting my knee. This was the first time. And so, kind of dashed the Olympic dreams a little. So the next year, I trained hard. I fought back in the junior Olympic circuit, made it all the way to the nationals, and then I hurt my knee again in the nationals. So for there, I took
Mm.
close to a 10-year layoff. And then I just decided, said, you know what? Well, 'cause I started managing restaurants for a while, but I wanted to get back to my athletic roots. So I started training. I was like, let me get back out on the track. And so, and I trained hard. So this was before I became a trainer. So I was just going by based on what I knew from the past. Like had I become a trainer first, I probably would have trained differently, and maybe this accident would have never happened. But so we fast forward, I get back out there, and I'm doing the long jump first. I run, I jump, and I feel like a little tug in my right quad. So I originally hurt my left knee, but I felt a little tug in the right quad.
Mm.
But I jumped far enough to win. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to jump anymore. I'll take the win. Let's focus on the high jump. So I get to the high jump. Same scenario. I had my age bracket one. Like I could have stopped right there. But I mentioned my competitive spirit. Like that's why I wanted to give that quick backstory, just so you understood. So I was
You went
34.
again.
Yes, I was 34 at the time, and
Great.
there was still someone in there who was 45. And now, even though we're in different age brackets, like I won my age bracket, he won his age bracket, but I still wanted the head to head. So I said to my now ex, I was like, I'm gonna take one more jump. Like I'm not gonna let this old guy beat me. And so I go down, I plant to jump, and I felt something different in my left knee. Now I had tendonitis from when I heard it back in 92, 93. So like it always flares up on me. So I was like, you know what? I said to my ex, I was like, give me some tape. I said, because the other guy, he jumped and he missed too, and he missed by a lot. So I was like, I know I can pull this out. So give me one more jump. So I'm up there, I'm standing tall, I'm feeling good. The confidence is just flowing. And so I go into my stride. Everything is good. I hit my mark. I reach back to jump, and then I saw white. Ne-
Oh,
Next thing you know, I'm on the ground, and my left kneecap is that far up my quad.
oh gosh, that sounds painful.
Believe it or not, I felt nothing. It went instantly numb. Thank God, because I probably would have went into shock if I felt that.
So when numb, you didn't feel it?
Didn't feel a thing. It's like I felt it release, but it wasn't painful. And
Okay, I see
so
what you're
like
saying.
and I seriously saw white. Like I couldn't see anything for a second. Then when my eyesight came to, I looked down. That's when I noticed my kneecap was displaced. Like it wasn't displaced a little bit. It was literally that far up my leg. And so I'm yelling for my ex to call an ambulance. And I'm sitting there just in disbelief, like, why did I take that jump? Like now I'm questioning myself, like, why did I take that jump?
Right.
But the athletic trainer comes over, and I had my hand like this over my knee, so she couldn't see it. But she comes over, and I told her, I said, I already have my ex calling the ambulance. She's like, oh, I don't think you're gonna need an ambulance. Let me take a look at it. And then I moved my hand, and if you could have seen the look on her face, and she's like, "How are you not screaming in pain right now?" I was like, "Oh, this." I was like, "I can't feel this." I was like,
I don't know how. I dislocated my arm once and I was screaming like you have
"Ooh,
no idea. It hurts.
wow." Yeah. So when everything shifted, was I get into the ambulance, I get to the emergency room, and the ER doctor comes in. Now the EMTs had put a brace on me, so he's undoing the brace, and he looks at it, and within not even a half a second, he looks right at me and says, "You'll never run, you'll never jump again."
Oh wow.
And so we just kind of locked eyes for a second, and then like I
Mm,
started tearing because like I had just started my fitness stuff.
wow.
I had twin boys who were 4 months old at the time. I had they were 4 months old, so Kaylin was two and a half, and then I had how old was Olivia? Anyways, wait, I had
Mm,
five young kids. So I'm like,
goodness.
you're trying to tell me I won't be able to run around with my kids, like I won't be able to teach my clients how to squat, or I won't be able to go on runs with them, do 5Ks, 10Ks, like all this stuff was going through my mind. Like I finally made the decision to not manage restaurants anymore. And now this. And then I paused and I said, with all due respect, sir, I said, you don't effing know me like that.
Oh,
Except I didn't bleep it. So I was like, you have no idea the cloth that I'm cut from. I said, and down the line, we're going to revisit this conversation.
wow. That
Yeah.
takes guts and courage and believing in yourself more than anything else,
And
right?
yes, and right there at that moment, that was like still adrenaline flowing. So I had emergency surgery the next day to repair it. And when I tell you, that hurt.
Yeah.
So when I woke up in recovery, I had the big brace on. They had this machine just like blowing cold on it, in lieu of like ice packs. It was just constantly blowing cold. But that pain was insane. And I was on morphine. They were putting shots into my stomach. but it
It's
hurt
still.
so bad. So at that moment, I was like, maybe I won't come back from this, just
Oh
just just
yeah.
for just for a split second. And
Yeah.
so when I started talking with the surgeon, who was kind of a jerk, by the way, but that's a separate story. But
No.
he started giving me a little better outlook, but still, he's like, it could take a long time. And so where I stepped into my own power was I'm out of the hospital now. I went for I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 week checkup because this was in 2009. So I went in for a checkup. Like I had a walker at home. I had crutches at home. I mean, at 34 years old, I had a walker. Like I didn't do well for my manhood, So, but I go to this checkup. I'm on my crutches, and the surgeon says you can start to put pressure on it now. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm doing it very, very cautiously, like
Mm.
gently, because this was my first ever surgery. And so I was like, okay. And then I put one crutch down, and then I put the other crutch down, and then I started walking. And then I was mad because I was like, I could have did this 3 days ago.
Wow. Wow.
So from that moment on, I was like, yeah, I am in control of my healing. I
Right.
was like, not them. I was like, they have to err on the side of caution. I was like, I could have walked 3 or 4 days ago, and here
Yes.
we are slowing stuff down. And so I came up with the saying, ignore the never, because they told me I'd never run or jump again. You take out the never, it says I'll run and jump again.
Ignore the never. I
Yes.
love that. I love that. I love
Yes.
that.
And so I have to specify ignore the positive nevers, because you don't want the negative number never to happen again.
Right.
It's like we don't want
Right.
those, but the positive ones. So if someone says, "Oh, you'll never be able to run a 5K," train up and go run a 5K. It's like, yes, you can.
Wow. 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 That's so incredible. And today I was speaking with a doctor who is considering on going public about self-healing and how
Mm,
we have the power to heal
yes.
ourselves because it's part of nature.
Yep.
Plants do it, animals do it, we have to learn to do it. So that's such
Exactly.
an incredible story. So from that point forward, what happened? You recover and like came out stronger.
Yeah. So 1 week post surgery, I started teaching my fitness classes again. I was in a wheelchair, so like I would get myself into my van. I would drive to a playground because I didn't have a building yet, so I was just starting. My clients would be there before me. They would take out the wheelchair. They'd help me get in it. They'd wheel me to the part in the field. I teach class, then we pack everything up. They'd help me get back in because it's like the show had to go on. Like I had just started building a following. Like I couldn't take time off. I couldn't do it. But so it wasn't even just this one thing. Because then right as the strength from my knee was getting to where I could start to do things again, like I'll tell you quickly, the first time I ran again,
Right.
I was at the I took my kids to a track because they like to run around the field and the rocks there, and I was like, you know what? I think today's the day. And of course my older kids were like, "Daddy," they're like, "The doctor didn't say." I
They're
said, "Yeah,
afraid.
yeah."
Yeah.
I was like, "Don't worry about that." I was like, "If I feel
Yeah.
anything too crazy, I'll stop." And I just started going. And granted, I looked like a newborn giraffe, but I ran. I ran, and
Wow.
again in that moment, like the eyes filled up because it was then when I knew I was going to make a full recovery. All right,
Right.
and since being told I would never run or jump again, I've run 135 obstacle races, including a half marathon and a Spartan Ultra, which is 30 miles. I've earned multiple trifectas. I've competed in track and field again. I've been undefeated in the high jump and the long jump and the 200 meters since 2016. And had I listened that day, because like you said earlier, we have the power to heal. Like our brain is the computer. Our body does what we tell it.
Right.
See,
Right.
and I can
Right.
validate that because I've had 6 surgeries since.
Yeah.
and and I've gotten through all of them far ahead of time. So the second one was I donated a kidney to my sister, and this was in 2011. And then same thing, they took it. through, I guess, old school, they used to take it out of your back. So they asked me if I wanted to try a procedure they've been testing where they take it right through your belly button. Well, my first question was, how new? I'm like, I don't want to be like number 3 on the list. It's like, how many of these have you done? And he said he's done over 100. So it's like, you know what, over 100? All right, I'll roll
It's
the dice.
fair. Yeah.
And then even with that, it was like maybe 11 weeks post-surgery was when I ran my first obstacle race. So I had 2 major surgeries, and I was still able to get back out there. And so anything else that I've heard, just before people go thinking I'm frail, I'm a daredevil. I'm an absolute daredevil. So it's like I don't fear consequences. If I want to try something, I try it. If it hurts me, it hurts me. But like I don't want to be on my deathbed saying I coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Important.
Yes.
Important.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now taking that focus and shifting it to where I'm working with my coaching clients, I let them know like that day I could have accepted so-and-so's diagnosis for me, but I chose to forge my own path. So like if someone's telling you you think you have a great idea and someone else is trying to clip your wings or stuff you into a box, it's up to you to take control of that. So that's the message that I take from my surgeries as I'm working with other people. It's like I got through all of these things that tried to take me down, and I'm still here and I'm still competing at a high level because I won't let myself do anything differently.
Exactly. And something that I always share is that in order for us to do that, we have to silence the noise around us, right? So, what
Absolutely.
helped you through this process? What helped you stay focused? Because I'm pretty sure you were being bombarded with, family telling you be careful, or somebody, I don't know, if you should do it. It takes a lot of guts, courage, but focus
Yep.
to just keep going. What helped you during this process? What was your technique?
It goes back to the very first story I shared. Just being number 7, being so and so's little brother, and
Mm,
getting out of that shadow. So when my knee broke, I was in a shadow again, and I had to break through. Like in order to get back to being me, I had to break through this challenge. And then
right.
anything else I did, like I was just getting fully back to strength with my knee when I found out my sister was sick. And out of the 7 siblings, I'm the most healthy and I control my own schedule. So it was a no-brainer. I was like, you know what? I'll do it. And
Right.
so same thing, that's different because yes, you can live with 1 kidney, but we're born with 2. So it's like we're born with 2 for a reason. Like wherever you think we came from, they
Right.
thought it was a good idea. We have 2 of those. So,
Right.
I still had to battle with that a little, and it runs in the family. So like, what if my kids need one? What if my other one goes? You get the little mental games, but then it's like, that's where you have to remember. And I use this word a lot. This word is taken by some as selfish, but once you embrace its true meaning, you'll find out that there's power in it. And the word is selfish. So
Okay.
like I was like, I'm thinking about this selfishly. Like right now, my sister is in pain and she needs me. And that's the message I take with my coaching clients when they feel like they may not belong or they're afraid to take that next step. I'm like, you're being selfish, because by you not taking that next step, there's people out there that are waiting for you to take it that need your help. And they're going to be sitting there waiting because you're so worried about how you're going to feel instead of focusing on the impact that you're going to leave for the world.
Yes. And you're inspiring people. I have a couple of viewers sending comments here.
See that? Thank you.
She says, thank you for inspiring us. You nailed it.
Thank
Julie
you.
says, got a positive one is making you inspire. So you
Love
are
it.
making a big impact, Robert. I'm so honored to have you here. And
Thank you.
I want to thank you for your time. If anyone wants to reach you, how can you help us, and where do we reach you?
Yes, my website is Robert B. Foster. It's just my name, robertbfoster.com. The site is under construction. There's still a good amount of info there. And then I have a group on Facebook where I help people tell their personal stories, and that's at speakaboutyourself.com.
So I'm gonna put it here.
Yep.
Speakaboutyourself.com so that here we go. Let's put this one. robertbfoster.com and speakaboutyourself.com.
Yes.
Awesome. That way we can reach you and get some of that resilience that you have because it's incredible and
Thank you.
inspiring.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks, everyone, for watching the Winner's Journey podcast. I hope this is an incredibly inspiring session for you. Get a hold of Robert if you need to hear more from him. You have the website there. We're going to put it on the comments as well. We have one more comment. I want to publish it. Rami says he loved the vibe.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciated.
Rami. Thank you. Thanks, Robert. And thanks, everyone. Don't forget to stay inspired.
Yes.